Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on when you're watching this interview. Well, my name is Anna Partners, and this is Mwananchi Digital. Just to remind you that last year we had our very first edition of the Citizen Rising Woman, and it went pretty well. Now we're doing the second edition, and now we're interviewing different women who have succeeded in their career journey, just to get their point of view of how they've gotten to where they are today as a leader, but also to empower women. The aim of these interviews is to empower these incredible women, but also to inspire young girls. So the event will be taking place at Serena Hotel on 8th of March, which will be the Women's Day, but also we'll be posting different updates on how the event will be taking place and everything else. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, but also you can follow us on other social media platforms. I'm in Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So with me today, I have an incredible woman who is the Chief Executive Officer for Legal Services Facility, but she's also a board chairperson for Tanzania Women Lawyers Association, TAWLA, Miss Lulu Nangwakilala. Is it Mwanakilala? Miss Lulu Mwanakilala will be doing interview with us and telling us her story and how she became a leader and everything else. So I welcome you all to join us through this entire interview. Hopefully you're going to learn a thing or two. Well, my name is Anna Partners, and once again I welcome you all. Hi Miss Lulu, how are you?
Hi Anna, how are you?
I'm good. You look amazing, by the way.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you. So first of all, I would like to know your story. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? How did you get to where you are today as a leader? Let's start there.
Okay, thank you. It's interesting. It's also not unique. My story is like so many women, so many people who have gone through quite a similar story. I started off, I went to school from my early education in Tanzania. I grew up here. I went to school here from primary school all the way to University of Dar es Salaam. So like so many other people, I don't believe there is anything different there from anyone else. And I guess throughout the journey, first of all, before I even talk about myself, my belief in leadership, I believe people talk about nature or nurture, meaning either you're born with it or you learn it. And I believe it's a bit of both. So I have always had it. I believe there are leaders everywhere. A leader is not a title. The title does not make you a leader. You're a leader because you lead. So if we, for example, right now walk down the street and you see a group of people, you can immediately identify who is the leader amongst those people who are probably sitting on the side of the street. But then you nurture that. You nurture that by making sure that you sharpen the skills, that you get the experience, you get the relevant exposure, and you grow. And you become even more of a leader. So for me, it's not so different, as I said. I had, from an early age, held leadership roles in school. So from primary school, secondary school, but also I'm a firstborn. Naturally, firstborns are born leaders. I have a lot of siblings. I had to grow up really fast, learn how to, you have this, you feel a sense of burden, a sense of you want to be the example, you want to be the one to show the way. So you naturally, automatically have that sense of leadership. As a mother, you're also a leader. So I am a mother as well, so I'm a leader because I have a family. I have children that look up to me. Yes. So the leadership, as I say, it comes naturally, but it also grows. I used to read a lot of books. Okay. I say used, not because I've stopped, but I don't as much now because of responsibilities, but I grew up reading a lot of books. And I think that has played a big role in terms of my growth. Yeah. My exposure in terms of what is possible and what is not possible. Your imagination becomes completely, like anything is possible under the sun. And so it shows you what you're capable of, what you can do. I'm a great believer in making sure that children get as much exposure as possible, because it shows you that there is no limit. And so I grew up with that in mind, and so I've always felt that I could do more, I could do better. And I've always been driven by wanting to see change, not just in myself, but in my community and also in the society at large. And I've always had a sense of an urge that if something needs to be done, why can't I do it? So that has always pushed me. So even when you look at my career and you look at my growth, I remember I was in secondary school when I decided that I'm going to be a leader.
Okay, I wanted to ask you that question. Like, when did you realize that?
In secondary school.
In secondary school.
Yes, in secondary school. And then I realized that in order to do that, I needed to be confident. I wasn't always this confident.
Okay. Yes. So what did you do to get that confidence?
I started putting myself forward. Okay. So I would stand up, I would speak, I would present myself, I would learn how to present myself in front of people. I would take opportunities that other people wouldn't. I would put my hand up for, you know, roles and things like that. Wow. Yeah. So from that point on, once I made that decision, it was very conscious. So once I made that decision, everything that I did from that point prepared me for the journey that I was going to take.
Okay, so you have more than 20 years experience in leadership, but you don't look like that at all. You look very young. What is the secret? Let's start there. What is the secret? What is your secret like?
It is actually a curse and a blessing
Why
at the same time, because sometimes they think you're too young for this.
You look young.
And I'm not. But sometimes, you know, but thank you anyway. But sometimes, you know, it can be a stumbling block. Oh, her. First of all, she's female. Secondly, she looks so young. Can she really do it? You know, but you have to prove people wrong. My secret, I don't really have one. No? I don't really have a secret. I'll be lying if I said I have the best health choices or the best exercise regime or anything like that. I work hard. Maybe that's one of the things. I keep myself very well informed. I like to make sure that I'm up to date with absolutely everything, not just my work. Amazing. I believe you have to be well-rounded. So if you ask me right now about politics, I can talk to you about that. If you ask me about, I don't know, any other issue, sports, anything that you want to talk about, we can talk about. So I think it's really important to keep yourself as well-rounded as possible. Okay. In terms of my physical appearance, I guess it's just genetics, nothing else.
And God-given.
Yeah, nothing else. Nothing else. But I also think it's important to take care of yourself. To be healthy. It's important to also know your status, your health, to listen to your body all the time, to know that to take a break when you need to take a break. Work hard, but also take a break.
Yeah, most
also
people
have
don't
time.
do that. Yes,
and also have time for yourself.
Yeah.
I like to sometimes just be quiet, do nothing, and just listen. Take time for myself. Yes.
That's a good advice, people.
I think it's important, yeah.
That's a good advice. So you just sit somewhere and just
and
listening to music. What do you do?
Sometimes not even, the silence is good. You don't need anything at all. Okay. Yeah.
That's good.
Be still.
Okay.
Be still. Be still, be present, be in the moment. And at that moment, give yourself time to, you know, to breathe. And then continue, because that gives you the energy to go on. Okay. Yes, and sometimes we run too much and then we burn out. So you have to listen to yourself, listen to your body. As busy as you are, you have to understand and know when you need to take that time out.
That's very important.
then family, friends, and anything that makes you happy is important as well.
Okay. Going back to your 20 years of experience in leadership, how was the journey been so far? The experience, what have you had to go through to get to where you are today?
We could actually talk about this the whole day, but it has been how can I say, it has been, I wouldn't want to make it sound as if it's always been easy. It has not. And any journey, especially the leadership journey, has a lot of ups and downs. You have to have the willingness to persevere. You have to be able to persevere. If I was to be asked, what would I say to someone trying to get into, I would say, be resilient, be ready, because it's not always easy. You will find obstacles, but you have to find a way to get through the obstacles, to get to your main goal. You should always keep your goal in mind, and you should always focus on the end game. What is it that you want to achieve? Why do you want to achieve? The why should always be there, not just the what. You don't just want to be a leader. You don't just want to be a CEO. Why do you want to be a CEO? What is the why? The purpose. Be driven by the purpose and not that the title. And I think oftentimes we think of leadership, we think of titles. For me, it's about purpose. Is why am I doing what I'm doing? So I've always been driven by that. And my why, you might ask, it's because I want to uplift as many people as possible, especially women and girls. And I want to be that person that they can look at and say, if she can do it, I can do it too.
Okay.
So that has been the drive behind. But the journey has not been, as I say, always smooth. You have to work really hard. Credibility is really important. You have to be credible in terms of what you deliver, what you put on the table. You also have to have a lot of integrity. It's all about integrity. People should never ever have to question your integrity. So anywhere you go, they always say your reputation precedes you. People will talk about your reputation before they talk about you. So it's all about integrity. And it doesn't matter what anybody says about you. If your integrity is very, very strong, like people know you have integrity, then it's not, it will not affect you as much. So you have to make sure that you protect that and that you project that in everything that you do. In the legal profession, we always say, it's not that just people should see you this way. You ought to be seen to be that way, in the sense that people should feel your integrity. Like you walk into a room, they can say, I can trust this person. Okay. This person has integrity. So those kind of things are really important. And so during the journey, as I was striving to, move from one level to another level, one position to another level, it's always been my work. I always want my work to speak for itself. And so no matter what anybody says, and I can attest to this, that no matter what anybody says about you, your work will always speak for itself. Yeah. So if, for example, you have gone through a situation where it's a very difficult, a very hard scenario, and you don't know how to get out of it, show them your work. Okay. Just your work. Let your work speak for itself. And it's the quality of what you deliver, the quality of the work that you do will always precede any sort of perceptions people might have about you or about your role or your position. So if you look at the journey that I have taken, for example, everywhere I have gone, it has always been about what I have done to leave a legacy in the organization or in the work that I have done. And my career is interesting as well because it's one thing about me, I have to say, I do not like to be put in a box. Okay. So hence the many hats that you talk about that I have. So if you look at my career, I've done so many different things. At some point, I used to work in public health. I'm not a public health professional.
But you just wanted to?
Yes, I wanted to have an impact in that area. I am not even, I have not studied public health. At some point, people used to call me Dr. Lulu. Why? Because I was an expert in my field. At some point, I have done other things as well. I'm a lawyer by profession. I have also focused on international law and human rights, also women's rights and empowerment. But I do a lot of other things. I also, as you know, work in tourism. I also work in the startup ecosystem. I'm the vice chair of Tanzania Startup Association, banking sector, and so many other things. Because I believe once you're a leader, you are a leader. Okay. So you cannot be a leader of this. You're a leader, which means you can lead.
Is there anyone like behind you that just like pushing you should do this? Or it's just you just want to do a lot of things? Or you have someone or some people, or you have people around you who are pushing you. So like, you can do this, Lulu, you can do this, you can do this.
I started off by saying that I read a lot of books. Yeah. I was inspired. Yeah. So I received a lot of inspiration from the books that I read. And actually, I have to say something here. I notice this nowadays. People think that you should only read motivational books. No. Inspiration comes from a fiction book. It can come from absolutely anything. And I think we should be able to open up our minds and expose ourselves to as many experiences as possible. And we tend to put ourselves in boxes. You know, so we think that in order to be inspired, you need to read a biography or you need to read a motivational speaker's book. It's good. It has its advantages, but I think we should be more open than that. Read everything. Okay. Absolutely everything, because your inspiration can come from anything. So, and then when I started my leadership journey, as I said, I made a conscious decision. So why I made that decision? Because I think it was inward. It was important also to be a role model. Okay. It was important also to empower other young people, not just women, other, you know, to empower young girls, to also empower people like me.
Okay. Yeah. In your career journey, you have done a lot of things, as you have explained here before. I would like to know, what would you say you're mostly proud of? Like, I did this and I'm proud of this. What is that one thing that you're mostly proud of?
I'm proud of many things, many things. I also don't take full credit for everything that I do. Okay. If you talk to people I work with, they'll tell you. I always said, it's us, it's not me.
But because that you did yourself.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. But I just wanted to start from that point of view, that it's not always a one-person effort. You can lead, you can have the vision, but you need people to help you to execute. That's true. And you need to carry others with you as you go along. I'm proud of a lot of things. I'm still proud to date of what I did at the University of Dar es Salaam. I was the first female vice president of the student union. There hadn't been a female in that position since 1974. And after me, they were women vice presidents of Daru. So if you went to University of Dar es Salaam, you know this, I was the person that did that. So I'm very proud of that, because it has always for me been not about me. about everybody else. So if I, for example, leave a legacy, I want that legacy to impact on everybody else behind me. So it's not about me getting the glory. It's about what happens after I do what I do. Yeah. Yeah. So for me, that was the moment that I realized that it had that impact on so many people. And it's not just the position itself that was the issue. At the time, it was difficult for a female student to be in the student union, to be in the leadership. It was very difficult. And if you are, you will be a social representative or something like that. But you can never be a leader in that way, in that sense. But it's also what that means for everybody, is that it can be done. It's possible. That we also have the right, or the, you know, that we should also, I know people know they have the ability, but I think sometimes you tend to feel like maybe it's not my place to do that. Maybe there is no room for me in that. So I wanted to open doors.
And you did.
And so I opened doors. So I'm proud of the fact, but I'm proud of every role that I've done since that. Because everywhere that I have worked, every role that I have held, I have always ensured that I leave a legacy behind. Everywhere that I go.
That's good.
Everywhere that I go. Yes. So for me, that's what I'm proud of. But I'm proud of most when I see people come to me and say to me, it's because of you that I'm doing ABC. So that's what makes me proud. Yeah.
Good. And how would you like to be remembered? Like, if people hear Lulu.
I'm still young.
Well,
you
like,
told me I was young.
You're very young, actually. But like, how do you want people to, like, if they hear Lulu, how do you want it to be remembered?
I think I would like to be remembered by the impact that I have made.
Okay.
So the impact in the community. Yeah.
Okay.
That.
Okay, so as someone who has worked in more than 25 years in leadership, what would you say is your leadership style?
Okay, so I actually don't believe that there is a one leadership style. I think leadership is about being versatile. Leadership is about being agile. It's about being creative. It's about being innovative. It's about looking at the environment, the circumstances, the situations, the people that you're with. So it always changes. The style changes according to whatever is going on at the moment, according to who you're talking to or you're working with. But I would say in general, my style is inspirational. Inspirational. I am also, I believe myself to be visionary. So I see the bigger picture. And I believe that it's my job to inspire others and to carry others through my journey, through the vision that I have, so that we can deliver that vision together. And I think it's not enough to have a vision, you have to execute. So the execution part is where the work is. That you can have the most beautiful strategy, but if you cannot execute it and make it come to life, then it's as good as not having one in the first place. So you could have a mid-level, medium kind of, average kind of a strategy, but you execute it very well, you will get the results. You can have an amazing strategy. If you're not able to execute, you'll never achieve the results. It ends up being just this something up in the air. So I believe in motivating others, making people feel that they want to achieve that for themselves. Not for me, but for themselves.
Yes.
Yeah, so encouraging them, motivating them while guiding them through and giving them the direction and the support that they need in order to achieve that. And it's at the same time empowering. I like to see people grow. I like one day somebody to come and take me out of my chair and sit on my chair. I don't want to be the only one there. I don't like the idea of being, sometimes you hear, I was the only woman in this. or the only young person in this. I want us to be, a lot of us to be there. So if I can do something to inspire others and to motivate others and to guide and mentor and support others to get there, that's what I want.
Speaking of motivating others, there's a say that women are the one who bring other women down.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
My question is, who says that?
Like, there are a lot of people.
Yeah,
who speak
exactly.
out like,
exactly. That is my question, first and foremost.
okay.
Are you the person, are you the person in that position? So it's always said by people who are not actually in that position. I don't believe that. I actually think it's something we should get rid of. It's old-fashioned. It's out of date. It is not something we should be saying in 2022 at all.
Have to entertain it.
No, we don't have to entertain it.
Got it.
Yeah, no, actually, I don't believe that women bring other women down. I don't believe that women, a woman's enemy is another woman. I do not believe, because from my own experience, everywhere I go, and you can ask anyone that has worked with me, they will tell you how I always support other women and girls coming up. And I've always also received a lot of support from other women as well. So I don't believe this. I think this is a notion, a perception that we've had in the past that we need to get rid of now.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it. Okay, in the beginning of our interview, you talked about the number of reasons that have made you become a leader or wanted to be a leader. I want to talk about formal education.
Yes.
Do you believe that in order to become a good leader, you'd have to go to school, to good schools actually, you'd have to have knowledge on leadership? Okay. What's your take?
Interesting. There's a book, The Art of War, for those who like books. It talks about leaders being not the commanders in, the top level of the army, being the soldier at the back. So, no, you don't, but it helps.
It helps.
Yeah, so it goes back to what I said initially, that there are leaders everywhere. I see leaders everywhere. Actually, I see leadership in everyone. And I think even with, people that I work with, I always say everybody is a leader. We are all leaders. All of us are leaders. So you don't have to have a lot of education to be a leader. Actually, the education does not make you a leader. You can have the best education and you can still be the worst leaders. There are a lot of examples. You can have the best leadership training and still be the worst leader. That does not make you a leader. What makes you a leader is your own personal, the integrity that I talked about before, the ability to be able to lead and guide people, to understand people as well. Leadership is all about people.
Yes.
Nothing else.
Yes.
So if you can't work well with others, you cannot be a leader. Okay. So you could have all the accolades, but then you're not, you're not good with people. That does not make you a leader.
Okay. So, speaking of leadership, you're a board chairperson for Taula. Can you just tell us your roles and how does this role support women agenda?
Okay. So the Tanzania Women Lawyers Association, it's an association of women lawyers in Tanzania. And when I say women lawyers, I mean all women lawyers. So this includes we have some women lawyers who are policymakers. We have some women lawyers who are in government. We have some women lawyers who are in private sector. We have women lawyers who are in the development field. We have very prominent women lawyers, and some of them, ambassadors. Some of them are, the International Court of Human Rights right now. That's a woman lawyer from Taula. Our speaker is a member of Taula. Minister of Health and a number of other ministers. So it is very diverse. We also have young women lawyers who are also extremely active in everything that they do. And so it's a combination of very skilled, very highly skilled, highly qualified women highly empowered women who are doing a lot of things within their own field. So it is an honor and a privilege to be the chairperson of Taula. It is a position I do not take lightly. I have been a member of Taula since 2000. And being a member of Taula, it's volunteering. So I have been volunteering apart from the work that I do with Taula since 2000. And you don't become the chairperson of Taula. You're not appointed, you're elected.
Yes.
So members have to vote. You have to put yourself forward, and you have to, put forth your policies, what it is you're going to do for Taula, and members have to elect you. And so I was elected in 2020, and since then I've been working as the chairperson of Taula. It comes with a lot of responsibility, as you've said, because it also not only just Taula, but also women in general, in terms of women empowerment, women's rights. It is an organization that is known for that. It's also an organization that is very well respected in terms of pushing forward policies and laws, and and making sure that there is a space for women in terms of women's rights and empowerment. So my role as the chair is to work very closely with the management of Taula to make sure that we're able to implement projects and programs that we have set forward to implement. We have one big one that we're doing now, Mwananchi, which is quite a big program we're doing, but also membership is really important. It is a professional network. It was, I feel very privileged because the women the founding members who are still here today, some of them, who started Taula, had a vision, had a dream, and they wanted Taula to be this association that would fight for women's rights. And I'm very privileged, as I said, because usually we interact together in some of our gatherings, and I always feel very honored to hear from them that their vision, their dream carries on through me and through the members and through the secretariat, the management of Taula. So for me, it is a huge responsibility, but it is also one that I take I do not take lightly. I take it very seriously because it carries on the legacy of our founding members. Back in those days, there were very few women that in the legal profession. And the few women who were in the legal profession were not, felt that it was important to start Tanzania Women Lawyers Association to empower other women, but also to put on the agenda women's rights as a key agenda in the country. And that has been going on since then. The membership keeps on growing. But also I'm proud of the developments that have happened within Taula. I'm proud of the fact that now we are accomplishing all the goals that were set forward back in those days, and then coming up with a new vision, new direction based on the new membership as well, with the young Taula young female lawyers as well. So what I like is the dynamics that we have at the moment, the diversity of all these members, the founding members, some of us who have come in the middle, the new lawyers that are coming up. So the new ideas plus the old, but the motivation to move forward and make a difference in our communities for women throughout Tanzania, that really motivates me as well.
Okay, good. But I know the numbers of women who in leadership position is growing up, but compared to how it was before. Yeah. But still, we haven't reached to where we want to be. What do you think is the problem, and how and what should be done to increase the number of women in leadership position?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Numbers are growing. It is no longer what you call it. It is no longer unique thing to see a woman in leadership. I think we're getting used to women in leadership now. And I think positions are opening up. You know, it's interesting because growing up, I have always seen myself as a leader.
You did say that.
First, yes. So for me, it's getting more women in leadership. It's not about women. I think we need to get that straight.
What is it about?
It's about equality.
Okay.
Equal opportunities. Men and women. Meaning that if you know those, you know, when you have the balance, you know, and when you're trying to get the balance, if it is too much this way, it is a problem. And if it's too much that way, it's also a problem. We need to have a balance. And for a very long time, we have not had a balance. So the struggle has always been about getting that balance. Yeah. It's not just about that women should be in leadership. No, it's about we should all be in leadership. If we are capable of being leaders, then we should be in leadership. And so it's not a position for a man, it's not a position for a woman, it's a position for those who are able and willing to do. And anybody who is able and willing to do that should be given the space and should be, you know, should be supported to get to that position. So I think what needs to happen now, less talk, more action. Yeah, we need to stop talking. We've talked a lot. Yeah. I read somewhere that if there is no seat on that table, you bring your own chair. You know, I mean, it's about time we take action. Yeah. So it's not too much talking and no action does not change the situation. So what kind of action can be taken? Well, first we can look at the stumbling blocks. What are the stumbling blocks? Do we have laws, policies, regulations, even guidelines that will help support, ensure more women have access? Because sometimes it's a question of access. Okay. Is there access? We are saying, you know, there should be more women on boards. How? Okay. So the how is a question. Can we put quotas? Can we say 20%, 30% of board members should be female? Can we put quotas in our, you know, appointments? Can we put quotas in our, you know, recruitment processes? You can't be recruiting for a CEO and only have 20 CVs and say 20 and have 20 CVs from men and then say, I picked a man because these are the only CVs that I had. We have to be both deliberate and intentional if we want it to change. Deliberate in terms of our actions. So do something deliberately to make it happen. We cannot sit back and expect it to happen. It will not happen. So we need to be proactive. That's true. We need to stop just talking about it and saying we need more women, women can do it. We know. We know. Do it. No, we know we can. We know we can. We know we can. It's not a question. Yes. It's not whether a woman can or can't. Why not? What's it? Man can do it, then a woman
Why
can not? Do it as well. Why not? Yeah. What would stop one from doing it? So if we both can do it, then what are the stumbling blocks? How do we remove those so that we can, you know? So you have the difference between equality and equity, which is equality that both of you have been given the opportunity. Do it. Yes. That's equality. Yeah. But you know that there's a famous thingy they shared. It's like a cartoon character thing where you have a wall and then you have a short person and a tall person. Yes. And on the other side, there is a football match going on. The tall person can stand and the wall is here and they can see the football match. The short person, if you don't put, you know, something to stand on, they cannot see the football match. So that's equity. So how do we make sure that we remove those stumbling blocks? Because if we say we've given you equal opportunities, why are you not doing it? But the equal opportunities are not equal. Yeah. So how do we make sure that the equal opportunities are real equal in the sense that the space is provided? So there should be fairness. Fairness is always important, but I think fairness itself is not enough. Because if I'm fair, I will give you the same treatment as I give this person. That's fairness. But if, for example, for one reason or another, I am not able to do it within that framework you've given me, it means I am completely excluded. So what is it that I, the person in power, can do to make sure that others are not excluded? So remove the exclusions, make sure everybody is included, and then measure people when they've all been included. But don't measure people when some people are not, don't have the space. So this could be getting rid of some of the barriers. If we have the intention, that's why I talk about being intentional, if we really want to see it happen, then it means we will think beyond the processes. Because oftentimes we will say, yeah, but it was procedure, that was the procedure. Yes, we have rules, we have guidelines, we have processes. But we are the ones who create the rules and the guidelines and the processes. So we can look at our rules, we can look at our guidelines and processes and say, okay, this is a good guideline we have or a process we have. But does this process allow everybody to participate? It doesn't. If it doesn't, what can we do to make sure everybody participates? For example, if I'm the one who is recruiting and I have a senior position, I'm recruiting and I say, bring me CVs of people who can do this position, I would say it this way. Bring me CVs, let's say 10 CVs of females and 10 CVs of males who can do this position. And then I'll review this fairly, these CVs, and then find someone amongst these 20 people. But if I say, just bring me any CVs, you bring me 20 CVs, 18 CVs males, and then maybe 2 females who somehow don't qualify. So I have to choose between. So automatically that does not provide that space.
Yeah,
but that has to be very intentional. It just doesn't happen like that. If you say, I'm always fair, if people come and they're good, I'll give them the job. But how do they get to you? What do you do? What is it are you going to do to make sure that they get to you? Yeah. So remove the barriers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. I'm sure everyone who is watching this interview, they've gotten the point. Like they have to, what they have to do to remove the barriers and everything. Now, other people wants to know the other side of Lulu. Yeah, she's doing all of these amazing things. She's a leader and everything else, but she's also a mother. How are you as a mother, by the way? Like, just how are you as a mother?
So you cannot really know me without knowing me as a mother, because it's part of my identity, part of my DNA. I am a mother of 2 boys. One of them 16 and the other one is 9 years old. I'm very close to my boys, extremely close. What I talk about when I'm at work and elsewhere, it doesn't end there, even when I'm at home. So even when I talk to my boys, I talk about these kind of things. We talk about everything. Absolutely everything. We talk about politics, we talk about work, we talk about sports, we talk about people's rights, we talk about absolutely everything. And the reason, and I also tell them everything that I do. They know everything about me. If one of them was to be here, we'll talk about me probably better than I can talk about myself. Because you mentioned earlier, it's about inspiring. I want them to be inspired. I also want them to feel that anything is possible. If I can do it, they can do it as well. But I also want them to grow up knowing that I am raising 2 boys, but I'm raising 2 boys who also understand that anything they can do, a girl can also do. Yeah. So anything they can do, a girl can also do. Anything a girl can do, they can also do. Yes, yeah. So for them, it's not strange to see their mother in a leadership position. It's not strange to see that now we have a female president in Tanzania, because they have been brought up to see that as a norm. It is normal. It is possible. It can be done. There is no reason why it shouldn't be done. And I think I've mentioned Mheshimiwa Samia Suluhu Hassan, our president. She's very inspirational, not because she's the president. She's very inspirational because she's a very good, strong leader. Yeah. And so that strength and that leadership and the integrity and the level of capacity that she has across the board, I think that is what makes her so good. And you don't have to be a woman to admire what she does. Okay. And I think as women leaders, it should be about that. It should be about our strength, our capacity, our ability to lead. That should be the number one thing that people should be able to look at and admire. And with my children, it's no different. Okay. Yeah, it's no different. So I also encourage them to pursue their dreams. I encourage them to do whatever it is that they want to do. And amazing. Yeah, to understand that anything is possible. It's possible. Yes.
Well, at the beginning of the interview, you talked about taking care of yourself, like sometimes you find time to take care of yourself. But I know you're a woman of, like, you wear a lot of hats, so many hats, you have a lot of responsibilities. How do you manage all that and get time to take care of your kids and be close to them? Because you say you're very close to your boys. How do you do all this?
So someone once taught me, by the way, the other thing that I haven't said before is I feel like I'm like a sponge. I learn every day. Okay. And I learn from absolutely everybody and anybody. So I believe you can learn from anybody. So every single day for me, I learn a new thing every day, and I can learn it from anyone. And someone once said to me that we have 24 hours in a day, but you make time for the things you love. Yeah. And that has always stuck with me in my head. So as much as I work very hard, as much as I wear so many hats, and I have to be present, and I have to make sure everything is done well. But at the same time, I know what is important. What's important. My kids are very important to me, so I make time. I will wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning every day so that I can be with them before they go to school. Okay. I will come back home when they come back from school so that I'm there, so that I can sit with them and talk to them about their day and help them out if they need my help, or just talk. And then go and do other things after that. But I was there. And so you can never find me on a Sunday because it is their day.
Wow, amazing.
Completely. I might not even touch the phone.
You just have to take your time with your kids.
Yes, with them. And so you prioritize. You prioritize. Okay. Those things that are important to you, you will find time. It's the same as self-care. You have to prioritize. And you have to make time. You make time. Make time meaning that we always say, I'm busy, I don't have time, but you can make time. You can. There are excuses. Sometimes we're busy for nothing. Yeah. We're busy doing things that don't advance us in any way. Yeah. So you can look at your schedule. You can look at, and I'm not so programmed like that. I always think that it's important to know what your priorities are. And once you know what your priorities are, then you find time for your priorities. So wake up early, just so that you can spend time with your kids before they go to school. Be there when they come back from school so that you can talk to them about how their day went. And if you missed today or yesterday because you traveled, because we travel for work sometime, make up for it. Yeah. Make up for it. Find the time. Yes, find the time. If your body starts to shut down, stop. Stop completely.
And relax.
Relax. Listen to what your body says. Because you're not any good to anyone if you are burnt out. Yes. Even whatever you put out will not be to the highest quality. So you have to make sure that you yourself have that energy so that you're able to give out, to deliver on your obligations. Yeah, so if you feel that you've reached your maximum, take a break.
People don't find excuses and just take your time. If you feel you're tired and you need your time, just take it.
Yeah.
One last question so that I can...
Work-life balance.
Okay.
Very important. Work-life balance. It should not be like that.
Okay.
It should be balanced. Yeah. You can't be so good at work, but you're so bad at home.
Yeah.
Because eventually it will catch up with you.
Yeah.
Psychologically, mentally, your subconscious, you will not be able to perform. If you're good, if your home life is good, your work life is good.
Amazing.
Work-life balance.
Yeah.
Yes.
One last question.
Yes.
Okay, so now, if you have to go back and just change anything or just advise your younger self, what advice would you give her?
My younger self, I would say, not even the sky is the limit.
Wow.
Yeah, not even the sky. Yeah, I used to say the sky is the limit. So now I say not even the sky is the limit. Yeah,
okay. So
that's what I would say.
As far as you want.
There's nothing stopping you. Absolutely nothing. It's all a figment of your imagination. So let yourself go.
Amazing.
Anything is possible.
Yeah. Okay. Anything. Thank you very much, Miss Lulu. This was a wonderful interview. I appreciate it. I've learned a lot from you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Taking your time to
and
do this with us today.
And thank you for taking the time.
That was it for today, guys. Thank you very much for taking your time for being with us through this entire interview. Hopefully, you have learned a thing or two from this incredible woman, Miss Lulu Mwananchi, the Chief Executive Officer for Legal Services Facility, but also she's the board chairperson for Tanzania Women Lawyers Association, TAWLA, and she has talked about her journey, how she became a leader, her experience. So she told us her story of how she became a leader and how she is as a mother and everything else. So thank you very much for your time. And just to remind you that the event of Rising Women Initiative will be taking place at 8th of March at Serena Hotel. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you get all the notification of everything that we'll be posting there. My name is Anna Portness. I thank you very much. Till next time. Bye now.